All right, YouTube, what is happening? We got another video for you today. Sorry, making sure my mic's on. It is. Great. So we got another video today on the excellent knife, and sitting in front of you, the Pena Mula. Now, the only bad part about this knife is it's not available currently. I mean, it is, but it's sold out everywhere. So I don't know if there's another batch coming, what the plan is with that. So hopefully there is, because this is definitely one of my favorite knives that I reviewed in a long time. Let's go ahead and start the video with some size comparisons, some basic specs, and then we'll kind of get into my thoughts, feelings, and all that stuff. So you're looking at titanium frame lock, 3 1/4 inch blade. Overall length is 7.625 inches. Cutting edge is 3.125. Your blade width is 1.875. Blade thickness is 0.14. Bull arm 390 steel. The drop point blade, flat grind, and a satin finish. So, size comparisons. The obvious choice for size comparison here is the Chris Reeve Small Sebenza 31. You can see the Mula is just a little bit bigger, which is what I love about it. How about the Benchmade bug out? Nearly identical in size. You're getting on a thing here. This is my size of knife, guys. This is absolutely my size of knife. It's what really drew me to it. Field Duty EDC, same size. Essentially, Field Duty might have a little more handle. And the ever popular Vox F5.5. Which is a little bit smaller. So, some good choices there, good comparisons. Let's talk about this knife because, man, do I love it. Before I get too into it, let's check out the more important than a lot of the other specs, is how thin behind the edge is this guy. Calipers are getting sticky for some reason. It's not crazy thin. It's about 19 thousandths is what I get. So, which is, you know, about a little bit slicier than, or thinner behind the edge than a Para 2, Para 3. It's about the same as the bug out. Compared to some of these other knives on the table, the Field Duty EDC is about 17 thousandths, so it's a little slicier. The Vox is a little slicier. I'm curious what the Sebenza is. This one's been sharpened. Wow. This Sebenza is like 22 thousandths behind the edge. That is not thin at all. Yeah, so it's thinner and slicier than the Sebenza, which is interesting. Sebenza's cut well, though. They have that convex grind. Now this one's been it's been sharpened to a V grind, and it has a V edge, excuse me, not grind, and it has a very, very sharp edge on it, so it cuts very well. But so it's a little bit slicier, so it's a slicey blade, which I like. The size is absolutely perfect. I mean, perfect size. Like 3 1/4 inch blade is the sweet spot in my opinion. I think the 3 is a little small. I can usually get by. 3 1/4 is a little, or 3 1/2 is a little big for what I need. So this really falls in line with some of my other favorite EDC knives, like the bug out and that Field Duty EDC. As far as your blade length is concerned, you can see these two knives are actually pretty similar in a lot of ways. Very similar handle shape, similar blade shape. They both got that top swedge on the drop point. So never thought about the bug out being a good comparison, but it kind of is. But I will say, so let's flip the knife over and look at this side first. So you have dual thumb studs, which I love. That's fantastic. Most like Sebenzas, and I'm going to compare this a lot to the Sebenza because in my mind it is a Sebenza alternative. I don't have dual thumb studs. You can get them added, more money. You know, kind of annoying that they don't come both sides, but I love that part about it. Also runs on bearings versus washers. Has a nice titanium milled pocket clip. The lines on this knife, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more, because the lines on this knife are so simple, but they're so clean and so good looking, right? There's lots of chamfering on the handle, some radiused corners here. Like, everything is so well done. This is made by Riot Knives, if you guys didn't know, for Enrique Pena for his X series. And yeah, just fantastic. You've got nice hardware all throughout. You got some pivot collar, some gold accents around that, or bronze, I guess we'll call it, either way, around both the pivot collars. This one has a anodized backspacer and clip. I don't know if it came, I bought this secondhand. I don't know if it came like that from the factory or if someone did that, but it's a nice little touch as well. So, ergonomics, let's talk about it. Because, well, first of all, cutting performance is top of mind, and it's slicey blade, cuts very well. The edge is held up great. I've done a lot of testing with it, a lot of cardboard, a lot of wood carving, zip ties, things I usually do when I test knives, things I would encounter in my daily life. And first of all, the blade itself is, like I said, just such a good size. It's got a nice flat grind on it. It's decently thin behind the edge. It's a good cutter. It's just a really good cutter. But it's robust. It has a nice robust edge as well. It's not going to be too thin, I guess you'd say. Where the knife, to me, really shines too is the ergonomics. It's got such a neutral handle design, which you hear me hype. If you watch my channel, you hear me say neutral handle design a lot. It's the only way to go, man. It will fit most people's hands. It's ergonomically designed to fit most people's hands, which is what knives should do, because everyone has different anatomy. Everyone has different hand sizes. I shouldn't even say sizes, just different widths of their palm and their finger size and all that kind of stuff. And a neutral handle design works for most people. That's why the bug out is so popular. Neutral handle design. The Sabenza neutral handle design. So, love the handle design. Fantastic. It's ergonomic in every grip, no matter what grip you put it in. Nice jimping up here on the thumb ramp. But doing like the hammer cut, I was doing a lot of wood carving, just doing some shaving, some feather sticks. I know you wouldn't really feather stick with this, it's not a bushcraft knife, but it's a good test of ergonomics. That's why I do it. Just any kind of cut, it just felt good. No hot spots anywhere. Just fantastic. So it definitely checks the boxes in cutting ability and ergonomics. The action is stupidly good. So as I'm struggling to open the thumb stud, it's got a good detent. It's pretty, I'm gonna back out a little bit. It's pretty dialed in for detent. You can middle finger flick this too. Oops. Pretty easily. It's not like as easy as like a spotty hole, but it works. The thumb studs work really well. So you can definitely do that. You can obviously do this. You can even, I knew I was going to fill in that. Front flip it. It takes a little more risk, but you can front flip this knife. So the action and the fidget factor is really good. Perfect on that. So, I mean, honestly, so far, like, there's nothing wrong with this knife. What's going on? Well, there is a couple things where it kind of misses the mark. One of those being the weight to blade ratio, we'll call it. That magic ounce per blade shape type thing. It's got a 3 1/4 inch blade. This thing sucks, I tell you. There we go. But it weighs 4 ounces. It's a little on the hefty side. Could have been fixed pretty easily by milling out the handles just a little bit. You could have shaved off, I don't know if you're going to shave, down to 3 1/4, 3.25 on the weight, but you could at least get it closer, like 3.5, by there's just 2 solid slabs of titanium, and that's it. There's no milling at all. There is a little milling on this lock bar relief, which we'll talk about too, because that's people's complaints about this knife. So centering and everything was great, but it's a little on the hefty side. If you look at obviously the bug out's a bad comparison, but the Maw, because that's another not a fair comparison because it's not full titanium. Honestly, the Sabenza is the closest. It's a little smaller, but it's quite a bit lighter. Sabenzas are under 3 ounces, 2.7. It's definitely smaller, but not that much smaller to weigh that much less, right? So it's just a little on the heavy side. That's my one, I would say, big gripe on this knife. Okay, the next thing that I've heard from a few people that like this knife, but they're like, this this was a killer for me, didn't like it, sold it, is the pocket clip. So it's milled, it's beautifully done, it looks great. It does have, I think, enough gap. Where the issue lies is these lock bar cutouts are pretty sharp. So when you, and I'm just simulating this with this Hank here, but when you clip it in your pocket, you may hear this. Let's see if I can get it close. It almost like tears immediately. It's just sharp, and people have said that, and this gives you an idea of what it would carry in the pocket. So it's not deep carry, and I don't care about that. No big deal. It comes out very easily, but getting it into your pocket, I mean, this is a pretty thin material. This isn't even like as thick as jeans. Look, you really got to push it and get over that, and it kind of tears it. That's the only thing. Those are the two things that the weight and then that clip with this these lock bar cutouts, they're going to be a pocket shredder. It's inevitable that it's going to shred your pants pockets, which, you know, again, not a deal breaker for me. The weight and that are not deal breakers. I think everything else makes up for it. How clean the knife looks, how the aesthetics are fantastic, the ergonomics are great, the cutting ability is great, the action's fantastic. So, you know, you're checking most of the boxes here. You do have a couple things. It's not perfect. Is there such thing as a perfect knife, though? I don't know. I haven't found one yet. But it's very close, right? And if you're looking at this, it's, you know, if you can get one, if you can find one on the secondary market, or if they re-release another run, they're about $275. So considerably less than a Sebenza. Arguably better blade steel. The perfect size. This is the size of Sebenza. I've been asking Chris and Tim Reeve, and I've literally asked in person, and Ann Reeve to make a medium-sized Sebenza, which would fall at the 3 1/4 inch blade. And they won't do it. They're going to stick with the large or this. The large is too big, I think. The small it works for me, but it's like just on the brink of like not quite big enough. You know what I mean? This one is perfect. The size is right where I want it to be. So yeah, I absolutely love this knife, guys. I think it's fantastic. It's one of the best knives that came out in 2020. I know it's 2021. I'm a little late to game on this one, but it's still one you should highly, highly consider if you see it on the secondary market. If you like this size of knife, if you like the simple, clean lines, you could always do some anno on it to, you know, dress it up or whatever a little bit. I just think it's fantastic. The heavier weight is actually my biggest gripe. The pocket clip and stuff hasn't bothered me that much. I haven't noticed it as much as other people have, and the lock bar relief cut out. But if they just milled these handles, man, it would be like literally perfect. It would like check every single box and be like a long-term staple in my collection. I probably still will be because I really like it and I've really enjoyed using it and carrying it. So, but it's a little on the hefty side for its size. So that's my biggest takeaway from this is that. Let me think if I missed anything, guys. I think I didn't. Yeah, I can't think of anything else besides that it's just a really fantastic knife and that I recommend you picking one up if you find one, especially if you don't mind that 4-ounce weight. Obviously, there's some guys that carry like freaking, you know, cold steels that weigh like 8 ounces and things like that. So the weight not be a big deal to them, but this is a smaller, you know, medium-sized knife. I'm going to call it medium-sized. I don't want to call it small. But it's like it's right in the perfect size for me. And like I said, I can't knock it too much. I just think it's a fantastic blade. And it is like if you're in the market for a Sebenza and you're looking, it is a good alternative if you can find one because it's going to cost you less money. The build quality from Riot is on par with Chris Reeve. I know that's going to get some Chris Reeve fanboys going crazy, but it's true. If you haven't tried Riot, you need to. I know a lot of people want to keep it American, and I 100% respect that. That's fine. But I look at it from this perspective as well, and I've kind of reopened my eyes to more Chinese-produced knives. This is an American guy, right? Ernie Carpinier lives here in the U.S. of A. He's an American designer. These knives, when they're sold, what do? They support his family, who's an American. So think about it from that perspective too. It's not just, you know, yes, part of that money is going to China and to Riot, but I don't know if you've ever met the guys from Riot. I met David, super nice guy. I can't remember the other guy's name I met at USN show 2019. It was awesome. They're really good dudes, and I have no problem supporting their company as well. So, but they're making literally some of the best knives. Oh wait, there's 3 on this table right now that are made by Riyadh. Those are 3 of the best knives you can buy right there. It's hard to argue, guys. Hard to argue. But think about it that way. Young Ma, American, supporting him. Vox, Norwegian, right? God, is he Norwegian? Yeah. Somewhere over there in the Scandinavian countries, and I'm of Scandinavian origin, I should know. But these are 3 of the best knives, all produced by Riyadh. So, it is what it is. They're on par with any knife manufacturer out there, in my opinion. Could be better, even. So, all right, guys, that's my thoughts on the Enrique Pena Mula. Love to see these come back in stock, and make sure if you do and they do another run that you grab one, because they're excellent. And if they do another run and want to make any changes, just mill out the handles a little bit and you'll be good to go. And maybe mill out the handles and less extreme lock bar relief. Other than that, man, it checked all the boxes. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and see you next time.